Oh, we've got a good one featuring several articles that Disco sent me. So this topic is the banned words. It's London.
See, I'm starting to feel like Bezik's week would be a lot less stressful if I didn't DM him.
Oh, most definitely.
Bezik would log on to the start and be like, "Hello, folks! I've had a wonderful week. I hope everybody's happy."
For the first time in weeks, he's had sleep for more than 8 hours.
There was a time when I'd wake up, look at my Discord notifications, and see random string of letters.jpg from Discord and be like, oh, fuck, no, what now?
Occasionally it was a cat picture.
Yes, I like the cat pictures.
Yeah, but you only put those in just so you keep being a sucker and look at the black-pilled ones.
Yeah, I have to, it's like, Russian roulette. He doesn't know what he's gonna get. He's hoping it's a picture of George, and instead it's just a black suppository.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah. Callum says, banned phrases as he finished watching Demolition Man. I'm sure Sadiq Khan would absolutely love to have those stations on every street pole that fines citizens credits as, well, what would it be? It'd be a central bank digital currencies. Fine them from those every time they say an unapproved word. So the London Mayor has produced an inclusivity guide with banned phrases for his staff. London Mayor Sadiq Khan has produced an inclusivity guide for his staff to tell them what they can and cannot say. Phrases that ban include, ladies and gentlemen, instead you've got to say something that doesn't exclude mentally ill people. You're not allowed to say men and women. You've got to say people are Londoners. Londoners aren't people. You're not allowed to call anyone an illegal immigrant. They're called undocumented, someone with insecure immigrant status, and you're not allowed to talk about kids. You're only allowed to speak about young Londoners. That's odd. I thought Sadiq Khan liked kids.
In a completely platonic way?
Hey, no, if only.
Yeah.
So, yes, other things. Yes, you need to say.
I mean, I've said so much about Sadiq Khan already that I really don't have anything to add.
Oh, you also can't call them asylum seekers. You must instead say people seeking asylum, because apparently that means something different.
Yeah, that sounds about as different as calling people of color rather than colored people.
Exactly. It's exactly the same kind of stupidity.
Yeah.
Oh, people first. No, you're just obfuscating crap. A person seeking asylum could be referred to as an asylum seeker. It's almost as if we use verbs to mean things. Male and female are dated medical terms. Call them girls and women and boys and men. Sorry, male and female are dated medical terms. Righto, I'll get right on fixing all those toilet doors. Non-English speakers. This positions them as flawed or defective. Call them Londoners with English language needs.
What? Make it even harder for them to understand the language they're trying to learn? Good job. Fucking idiots. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, and kids is banned as is patronizing. Use like young Londoners, he says, as he patronizes his staff.
We need to change his name. It's no longer Sadiq. It's Sadiq.
It's a dickhead, yeah. If you've legally entered our country and broken our immigration laws, you're an illegal immigrant. End of, says... Who said that? Tory MP Tom Hunt. Tom Hunt, apparently. The guide section on gender, yep, avoid...
His middle name Michael. Please tell me his middle name is Michael.
Oh, I hope his middle name is Michael. Oh, workers are also told that not all women have periods. Yes, some of them are over 40. Or under 12. But that's okay. Sadiq Khan doesn't like women that old. By that I mean 12. Oh, and use the phrase, people affected by period poverty.
Period poverty?
Sorry, what? Not all women have periods. And use the phrase, people affected by period poverty, as some trans men and non-binary people may have periods too. Then they're women. If you can have a period, you're a woman. You may be a mentally retarded woman, but you're a woman.
Yeah.
Tory MP Miriam Cates lashed out the guidance and told The Sun, the idea that male and female medical conditions is frankly absurd. This taxpayer-funded guidance is in conflict with fact, reality, and the law. Yeah. And on the issue of migration, the guide reportedly urged as workers to not make a distinction between migrants and Londoners. Remember, we are all Londoners. Yes, we remember that all the terrorists are Londoners. Part and parcel of living in a big city. Isn't that right, Sadiq? Marcus says, this guy is such a bitch. Isn't he just? Meanwhile, staff working for Mr. Khan must no longer call someone a non-English speaker because it portrays them as flawed and defective. But they are. If you're in England and you can't speak English, there's something wrong with you. And that something is that you can't speak English. Don't don't move to a fucking country if you can't speak the language and not expect people to get pissed off at having to deal with your bullshit. You're not a tourist. You're not bringing in money. There's a reason people put up with tourists that can't speak their language, and that's the dollars or the pounds or the pesos or whatever the fuck you feel like. Oh, and of course, unconscious bias training is mandatory for all new staff at the Greater London Authority.
Jesus Christ.
And when they're done with that, they'll teach you to hate white people, which does seem to be the entire goal of this.
Yes. Well, yeah, they seem to want to institute conscious bias
Indeed.
rather than have unconscious bias.
Yeah. Gotta get rid of all those white people and their evil, evil white people words. Don't worry. At least that's only for government employees and they're not really people. Meanwhile, in Ireland, we're restricting freedom for the common good. Oh, there's a fucking line. We're restricting freedom for the common good. Irish Green Party Nazi says that her government's hate speech bill is about restricting freedom and censoring views on gender identity if those views create discomfort. Kindly get into the bin with the other Nazis and communists.
Women are cancer.
At this point, I think we need to make it illegal for white women to vote. Sorry, Disco.
Have you seen how some of these fucking white men vote?
Yeah, well,
Universal somewhere though.
Universal suffrage was a mistake. Service guarantees citizenship.
I genuinely think that you should have to take some kind of fucking test when you get in the voting booth to say that you know what you're voting for. Like, either what does this candidate stand for, or you don't give the candidate names, you give the policies.
Yeah, that would be better.
People vote for the policies they want, not some popularity contest, not orange man bad, therefore I'll vote for whichever puppet they put against him. You give a bunch of policies.
Yeah, problem is, if they list their policies, you can't tell the difference between a fucking Tory and a communist. What's the other party? Labour. That's it.
Greens.
You can't tell the difference between the parties if they list policy.
Yeah, oddly enough, that's one of the things I keep telling people about is, look at the policies of the People's Party if you want to know why you should vote for them. Because they're the only ones who are against this gender affirmation bullshit. They're the only ones who are looking at immigration. They're the only ones looking at the cost of living. Right? Like this fucking idea that you can somehow tax the climate into health.
But on your point as well, Sadiq, yeah, how would you tell the difference between Labour and the Tories? But then you put Reform and whatever other parties in there as well. You haven't put the names of the candidates and you haven't put the names of the party. You've just put the policies. I think you would see a lot less tribal voting.
You would. Or then again, you'd probably see a lot less donkey voting. Because when you get into the booth and you see communist, 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 worse communist. Because it's not like the fucking Tories are any bastion of conservatism.
No.
Now, see, Colonel, I somewhat agree with you there, especially on the taxpayer thing. Now, the problem is with the homeowner is the government have made it damn near impossible for anyone to get on the housing ladder.
Yeah. It's why I understand. I do agree that suffrage needs to be restricted, but I don't think home ownership or land ownership is the right way to do it. Because if it's based on land ownership, congratulations, there are now 2 people who can vote, and that's Schwab and Gates. Starship Troopers is definitely onto something. Service guarantees citizenship. You can be a civilian, but you don't get to vote, or you can serve your nation in some dirty, dangerous, awful job, and then you earn the right to vote. Because that which is given has no value. Magis says that his premier...
No, Callum, I'm not talking about voting for a particle projectile cannon.
I mean, I'd like a particle projectile cannon, but...
Yeah. You may be onto something, but that's not what I was talking about.
Now, are you sure you want that, Colonel? Considering that the family unit has been massively abolished in the West. And so your head of household in a lot of like kind of low or high poverty areas is going to be that, single mama who don't...
Good old single mama on welfare.
So I would be careful about wishing for that, although the idea of having sort of a vote per household or, a vote based on the family unit is an interesting one, but I would be careful about just wishing for the head of household, because that...
Yeah, you'd also have to look at how do you... You'd also have to look at how do you define a household or a family unit, especially nowadays when millennials are basically never moving out.
Also, how many votes do you get? Do you get the one for yourself, or do you get extra votes because you've got 5 or 6 kids?
No, he means something completely ridiculous. Only the oldest male. Yeah, well done.
Because I definitely heard this idea where one person votes for a particular family, but they also, because they had children, they get extra votes. So if you have one child, you get one extra vote. You get 3 child, you get 3 extra votes.
Well, that's
That
an
was
interesting idea because in that case, you do have more of a stake in the future, and so you're kind of voting for your children in that case. But again, it is going to kind of benefit people who just keep popping them out.
Well, that's it. The problem is the people voting is going to be. Oh, what's a good thought name? What's a good What's a good single mother name?
Candy.
Yeah, there we go. Candy with a K and an I. So Candy
and a Lynn for a middle name.
Yes. So Candy with a K and an I is going to be voting because she's got 17 kids, all of whom are named John, and she tells them apart by the surname. And what's she going to vote for? She's going to vote for more money for single mothers.
You see, this is why, and I know, Bezic, you're not overly keen on this idea, but this is why, I think that being in a position where you're paying tax into the system is a good place to start, at least. Because
the problem with that is the stupid amount of taxes that we have. If it was just one flat income tax, sure, done, now.
Yeah.
Problem is the government dips in like 17 times by the time you drive to the fucking grocery store.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you there. I just mean that, there's a lot of people whose votes could be bought. Candy, for instance. Who's going to get Candy's vote? The party that's like, maybe we should bring down taxes a little bit and, not have quite so much welfare dependence, or the party that goes, we'll give you more money, Candy. How about universal basic income? You want us to give you 1,600 a month for doing nothing?
Yeah, universal basic income plus benefits per kid, plus housing assistance, plus food assistance, plus fucking. Well, she's not going to pay for health care anyway.
To the polling station.
National daycare. The one that Trudeau's trying to bring in now, national daycare, so that your kids can be indoctrinated by the state from an even earlier age.
Well, don't worry, Australia's got a solution for that, but we'll come to that later. So for some reason, whites is trending. London Transport advertises paid position for non-whites.
Do these? Isn't that against the laws of the UK still?
No, they changed
they
changed the law to make it okay if you do it for brown people.
Are you fucking kidding me?
Well, they call it disadvantaged or marginalized groups, but yes.
Yeah, every white person who applies for it, simply put on the very top of your resume, I identify as black. Fight me.
Yes, my name is Bezic. I am a black disabled trans lesbian of color. And I'm also Muslim.
Okay, there you go.
And I'm half Sami and half Indian. And by Indian, I mean Native American. I'm half Sami, I'm half Native American, and I'm half, I don't know,
in the bag.
Dog.
Jesus Christ. This is just insanity.
Yeah, but don't worry, you can't talk about it because they're restricting freedom for the common good. Yeah, we've seen the fucking common good. Is the common good equivalent to that good old public health?
Yeah, how wonderfully that works.
Yeah, not going to work out how they plan. So yeah, Ireland's going full fascist, but that's no surprising. It's to anyone who's been paying attention. Don't worry, if that's not bad enough, if you're in Australia, you can get fined $10,000 for liking the wrong post on Facebook or Twitter or whatever.
What now? Post to pay what? Transgender activist $10,000?
Newsreaders ordered to pay Australia's first transgender soldier $10,000 for liking offensive Facebook comments that wrongly brand her a male bully. What do you mean wrongly?
What do you mean her?
Yeah, exactly. This is an older story, but a newsreader has been ordered to pay $10,000 in compensation to a transgender activist for liking offensive Facebook comments. Canberra broadcaster and self-proclaimed radical feminist Bethel Rep was found to have breached discrimination laws by liking Facebook comments which vilified transgender activist Bridget Clinch in March 2018. The ACT Civil and Administrative Tribunal found that by liking the offensive comments, she had added fuel to a conflict with Ms. Clinch, who was the first transgender soldier to transition while serving in the Australian Army. That's the first mentally ill person to make themselves completely ineffective. Fuck's sake. Why are we allowing these psychos in the army?
Dishonorable discharge. I mean, whatever happened to that?
Exactly. Well, Section 8 them. Good old fucking clinger.
Yep.
But no. This is Australia, where you have to jump through 103 flaming, on-fire, rainbow-coloured hoops to get a weapons license. We'll just get a mentally ill lunatic access to machine guns. Yeah, that'll work out well. That's what we fucking need. Give a gun. That'll go well. We've seen what happens when the get guns. They murder children. Fucking believable.
Little green Martian. Sir, yes, sir. It's ma'am. And Callum, no, BC does not stand for Black Canada. It stands for British Columbia.
So this ugly fucking animal thinks that it's going to get $10,000 because the respondent could have deleted the comments made against the apology. They were rude, offensive, and unacceptable. Tribunal senior member, filthy fucking traitor right.
I think your military probably screwed up in the first place by allowing their soldiers to get fake boobs.
Our military screwed up in the first place when they sent all the good men to die in a fucking proxy war in Vietnam.
Also,
Did this guy actually see any action at all?
No, probably not.
he was wounded in service.
Oh, that's a terrible joke, but true.
First tranny soldier to transition while serving in the Australian Army. Successfully challenged the Army's transgender ban, which ultimately led to the abolition of the policy in 2010. Yeah, that's exactly what we need. People who are dependent on hormone treatments and are mentally unstable to have a gun in a combat zone. Yeah, that'll fucking go well. Like, they've got a t-shirt with all their medals. Well, none of those are anything of interest. Get back to me when you've got a Victoria Cross. I mean, we're all YouTubers. We've all been fucking insulted. We're around $10,000 per fucking like. I'm fucking real. And hilariously, at the same time, such bastions of journalistic integrity, such as Spiked, saying freedom of speech has toppled tyrants and propelled humanity forward, we lose at our peril. Yes, that's right. Freedom of speech, except when it...
I've never heard these guys.
So freedom of speech is essential, unless you're saying that are still men. If you enjoyed this segment from the Sons of Chardonnay podcast, please consider joining us live exclusively on rumble.com/c/Sons of Chardonnay. A special thanks to our Subscribe Star supporters who you can currently see scrolling past on your screen.